Fantastic sliding technology. One turn of the handle is all that is needed to release, open and move the sash to the sliding position. The energy consumed during these operations is stored. The stored force is used to pull the sash automatically back into the frame after it has been closed by hand. Another highlight is the integrated night ventilation. This all-around night ventilation provides for draft-free, consistent and natural ventilation that helps prevent the growth of mold. The following is a description of how to install the parallel slide fitting Hautau Atrium SP Comfort. Before setting out to work, check if all fitting parts are complete and follow the included installation instructions. The highlight of the parallel slide fitting, the bogie with energy storage unit. You will need the following tools to install the fitting. Also required for fastening, the fitting parts are a sufficient number of screws of different length and thicknesses. Position the sash on the assembly table in such a way that you can easily access the handle side. Copy the necessary drilling and milling dimensions on the sash profile. These may vary depending on the type of gear that is used with the fitting. It is essential that the dimensions specified in the instructions be adhered to precisely. After preparing the jig pattern in this way, drill a 12 mm hole that is approximately 40 to 50 mm deep. Next, mark the milled profile intended for your particular gear casing and machine it using a suitable milling tool. The sash is now ready for the installation of the central locking gear. For this purpose, remove the four corners from the packing units and position them on the sash. It is important in this regard that you place the arms of the corners with the locking cams into the vertical sash profiles. Fasten the four corners using the included window construction screws. For this purpose, use the fixing holes found on the corner which are located closest to the sash corner. The following is a demonstration of how to install the central locking gear. To make them easily detectable, the horizontal and the vertical locking have been bonded together to form small packs. Disconnect this bond and cut the individual locking parts to the correct length specified in the instructions. To facilitate installation, information indicating the installation position has been punched into the horizontal locking. After cutting them to the right length, place the horizontal lockings into the corner and slide the clips on the corners to the left or right across the horizontal lockings before fixing the clips and the horizontal lockings in place using suitable window construction screws. Repeat this process on the opposite side of the sash. The vertical lockings have been bonded together as well. When detaching this bond, you will find two different types of rods. One is the S-pack and the other is the locking rod for the non-gear side. Mark the cut to length positions on the locking rods before placing the rods into the corners and fixing them in place on the corners using the clips. Proceed by fastening the locking parts using window construction screws. Let us now move on to the installation of the holding rail on the upper sash. The stay system packing unit includes a varnished holding rail. Remove it from the packaging and cut it to the length as specified in the instructions. The length of the holding rail equaled the sash width minus 8 mm. Center the holding rail at the upper part of the sash and fix the holding rail in place using window construction screws. The sash is now ready for the installation of the handle. Remove the handle from the included bag and place it onto the sash at the 90-degree position. Rotate the panel to reveal the fixing holes and screw on the handle using included M5 to 40 mm screws. Rotate the panel back to its original position and check the central locking gear for free movement. The first turn of the handle requires an increased amount of force in order to release the fixation of the central locking gear. Installation of the bogies. Remove the bogie including the energy storage unit from the packing unit and check it for any possible damage. Use the separately available jig and a drill bit with a diameter of 4.2 mm to ensure that the bogies will be seated correctly on the sash. Drill the necessary holes into the sash. If the jigs are adjusted correctly, the bogies will be positioned 10 mm on the side next to the vertical sash. Place the bogies over the prepared holes and fix them in place on the sash. Refer to the installation instructions for the size of the fixing screws. The carton holding the bogies also contains two support arms that can be used on the right and the left-hand side. Remove these components from the carton and slide them completely into the large holes before screwing them in place. The holes in the sash have already been drilled with the help of the jig. Mount cover fillet supports if the sash width requires it. You will find them in the rail set. Prepare the installation of the cover fillet supports after consulting the installation instructions regarding the need to install them and the required quantity. Mark the position of the cover fillet supports and drill the fixing holes using, if possible, the jig and a drill bit with a diameter of 4.2 mm. Fasten the cover fillet support. Also included in the rail set is the connecting rod, which has a diameter of 8 mm. Specified in the installation instructions are the cut-to-length dimensions. Line up the connecting rod with the marking on the bogie without the energy storage unit. Copy the marking on the bogie with the energy storing unit to the connecting rod and subtract 364 mm. This is the correct length of the connecting rod. Cut the connecting rod to the size that has been calculated and marked accordingly. Slide the rod into the sleeve of the bogie with the energy storage unit that is found on the non-gear side and tighten it to a maximum torque of 7 Nm. Use a conventional Torx 25 key for this purpose. Now slide the remaining end of the rod into the bogie on the handle side. Move the entire bogie assembly you created in this way to the top until it reaches the parallel end position. It is essential that the bogie assembly be parallel, as it may otherwise not function properly later on. When its parallel position has been established, apply 7 Nm of torque to tighten the fixing screw on the bogie that is found on the handle side. Set the bogie assembly down. The sash has now reached a preliminary stage of completion. The next step is the installation of the frame. Position the frame on the assembly table in such a way that you can mount the required fitting parts. With every shipment, you will receive 2 bags with strikers. 1 bag containing 4 pieces of night ventilation plates and 1 bag containing 6 pieces of strikers. For the exact positions of the corresponding plates, refer to the installation instructions. Copy the dimensions specified in the instructions to the frame, paying particular attention to the position of each individual plate that results from the slide direction. The shape of the striker and the night ventilation plate defines the installation position on the frame. Fasten the strikers using window construction screws. The guiding rail, which had the U-profile cross-section, must be mounted on the upper horizontal frame. The running rail with its L-profile cross-section must be mounted to the bottom of the frame. Cut the guiding rail to the necessary size in accordance with the distance between the outer edges of the sliding sash and the fixed sash -8 mm. The running rail is exactly as long as the distance between the outer edges of the sliding sash and the fixed sash. The easiest way to determine the position of the guiding rail and the running rail is to use the optional jigs. Center the rails on the frame and place the jigs over the rails. Fix the jigs in place on the frame and drill the fixing holes. To prevent damage to the rails and to place the holes in the central position, we recommend that you use the drill centering device. Fasten the rails using the designated screws. Before installation can continue, stand the element up into the vertical position. Install the stay system with the energy storage unit. Open the stay system. Be particularly aware of the existing crushing hazard. Approaching from the side of the fixed sash, slide the stay system into the guiding rail with the so-called control side first. While doing so, make sure the stay system slides in smoothly. Take the sliding sash and place it onto the running rail with the bogie assembly open. It is important in this regard that the rollers of the bogies come to a standstill directly on the running track of the running rail. Move the handle to the 90-degree position. Slide the stay system into the designated groove on the holding rail as far as it will go. Fix the stay system in place inside the holding rail using a Torx 25 key. The sash is now firmly connected to the frame. The stay system set contains two smaller L-shaped collared caps. These form the end pieces of the holding rail. Slide the caps onto the front ends of the holding rail. The rail set contains a bag with several fitting parts. In the bag you will find, for instance, the guide block. The guide block is designed to guide the sliding sash correctly into the frame and must, therefore, be positioned accurately. For this purpose, slide it onto the running rail on the handle side, position it at approximately 7-8 mm as specified in the installation instructions, and fix it in place using the Torx 25 key. Make sure to only tighten the top screw at first. Do not tighten the bottom screw until you have verified the final seat of the guide block. The upper guide block. The upper guide block is needed in order to ensure that the sash is guided evenly and correctly into the frame and that the stay system is released. Move the sash up to the lower guide block before sliding the upper guide block into the guiding rail. Ensure that the fixing screws are located on the outside. Slide the guide block up to the stay system and fix it in place. Perform a quick test to see if everything works and re-measure the position of the sash inside the frame. If necessary, adjust the position of the guide blocks by the difference you may have measured. Hautau GmbH includes a screw cover profile that is designed to conceal the screw holes on the guiding rail. It is part of the rail set and must be clipped onto the guiding rail after being shortened to the same length as the guiding rail. The work on the guiding rail is completed by inserting the rear stopper and fastening the collared caps. Slide the upper stopper into the guiding rail on the side of the fixed sash, and with the threaded side facing down before using the cap to seal the front end of the guiding rail. Remove the lower stopper from the back that is included in the rail set and connect the two individual parts in accordance with the slide direction. Slide the stopper into the running rail on the side of the fixed sash until you reach approximately the center of the fixed sash section. It is possible to offset tolerances in heat of the bogie. To do so, remove the anti-twist device on the affected bogie and correct the height setting using the adjusting screw. Make sure to reinsert the anti-twist device when you are finished. You can also use the support arms on the bogies to influence the way the sash runs in and out of the frame. If these characteristics are in line with your expectations, you will, of course, not have to change anything. To determine if the stopper is seated correctly, open the sliding sash and slide it towards the open position until the sliding sash completely reveals the passageway. Fix the lower stopper in place using the screw and repeat this process for the upper stopper. Before you can finish your work, you must apply the bogie safety device. With the sash open, slide the red bogie safety device until you hear them engage. Repeat this process for the second bogie as well. The sash is now secured against inadvertent derailing. To conceal the bogies, the rail set contains the cover profile and the associated caps. The bogies include two markings which can be used to cut the bogie covers to the correct length. These markings are clearly identified in the installation instructions. Copy this marking to the cover and cut off the cover at this position. The bogie cover must now be clipped on. Do not use a tool for this purpose, as this may damage the surface of the bogie cover. Finally, remove the caps and clip them onto the corners of the bogies. This will cover the cutting edges of the cover profile by approximately 3 to 5 mm. The operating label is included with every shipment of the Atrium SP Comfort. Attach it in a well-visible area above the handle on the sash. Finish by verifying that the parallel slide element with soft close mechanism is fully operational. Fantastic sliding technology. Hautau's innovative Atrium SB Comfort represents a revolution in the field of sliding windows, thanks to its unique soft close mechanism and a night ventilation feature.